on.
Hi. Most of the acts you see tonight are all hoping for that important first break. Be careful what you wish for. That's why I've come here to say. So when I crossed the picket line at the National Eczema Society, they all shouted scab. So I said, well, you shouldn't pick it. As a child, I was made to walk the plank. We couldn't afford a dog. I applied for a job. They said, send in your CV. And I love that car. Tiger Woods. That was no place for a picnic. I wrote a book on penguins. Yeah, paper would have been more practical. Took out an endowment mortgage. If I don't keep up the repayments, they cut my cock off. Passed a milestone earlier today. Learned about this great diet from a Saudi Arabian cannibal. And it's so easy. You just have a shake for breakfast. I'll do a high energy bit for you now. I went out with an optician. She'd always take ages to get dressed. She'd be like, does my bum look big in this? And now? How about now? And so on. I went out with a lady in waiting, which is a posh way of saying pre-op transsexual. I went out with a little pink mouse that lived on the moon. And we split up. Only then did I realise that I dropped a clanger. Quick note to anyone from overseas. Clangers were little pink mice. They lived on the moon. I went out with one of them. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? It's the albino girl. I spent 3 years at university studying sound engineering. Came out with a 2-1. 2-1, 2. Got a job as a PA. A friend of mine wasted his entire 3 years studying the work of Mr. T out of the A-team. He only came out with a BA. I love that joke so much. I met a man who reminded me of my dad. He came up to me and said, "Don't forget your dad." My dad had a chicken farm rather than do it himself. Took my dad for a drink. He brushed the ice cubes out of his hair. Said it was a sort of mistake that could have happened to anyone. Grandma was alcoholic, so we drank her. Grandma's funeral. At a funeral, I was asked to lay on the buffet. A man uses too much pornography. Eventually, It starts to affect his whole attitude towards slags. Apparently. I joined the fisting club. It's not something I'm particularly into. I'm just trying to widen the circle of my friends. I'm going to finish up with a little moral lesson to you all. A close friend of mine had a penis extension, and now his house looks really stupid. You've been lovely, haven't you?